Welcome to the Live It Right podcast, hosted by John and Caitlin Lindsay. We're going to be talking all things health and wellness, from food, fitness, relationships. So if you want to live your best life and live it right, join us for this conversation.
So whether you're a health enthusiast, a busy professional, or someone looking to achieve a more fulfilling life, you're in the right place. Tune in, subscribe, and join our community as we explore the path to living it right.
Let's go. Welcome back to the Live It Right podcast, episode 14. Today is a Q&A episode. We got some great questions from you all on Instagram. So we're going to just dive right into them and answer them as best we can. So question one to you, what makes you successful in your partnership?
I think one of the biggest things that's made a difference in our relationship has been approaching our marriage and friendship as a team. I think that's really important to not just support each other's goals, passions, careers. It's not just about supporting them, but it's also about giving them the tough love.
Yeah.
Challenging. I can't tell you how many times he's called me out on things and been like, this is what you want to do. Like,
a lot.
Yeah. More than I'd like to probably admit. I work a very high stress career. So when the stress hits, well, hard. But I think it's really, really important to approach marriage as a team. And I think we really, make a very good effort at doing that.
Yeah. I think we're even getting, no one's perfect, but I think we're even getting better. Like even when we have, I won't even call them arguments, but disagreements, I think we reconcile much quicker now. And I think it's because we just have an understanding of how, like, if we have a disagreement, like I have a better understanding of how Caitlin probably interpreted that event. She has a better understanding of how I interpreted that event. And it's easier for us to, if we argue about something, to think, okay, you know what, as this is kind of settled in, I now know how she interpreted whatever happened, whatever we're disagreeing about. And at the end of the day, as you said, we're a team, and we know we're both trying to get to this end goal, which is just to have an incredible life.
And I think that, like you said, not everyone's perfect, which is very true. And the thing is like, I think the most successful and strongest relationships are ones that constantly are challenged.
Yeah,
we're never going to be perfect, but like there's always room for improvement. There's always ways that we can serve each other better.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know if constantly, for me at least, constantly challenged would be what I would strive for, but definitely like when you are challenged, you're trusting your teammate. Like you don't want constant challenge, but when it does come up, I got my ride or die with me, like this is not going to be a problem. So another thing I think that helps us too is we have a ton of similar interests, and I think that's what attracted us to each other in the beginning. But we have completely different personality styles, like almost polar opposite personality styles. Very type A, complete opposite of type A. But I think that it just makes life more fun, because like everything from fitness, food, watching college football, just walking around the world, like just doing stuff, like we enjoy doing all these things together, and it's fun just having two different personality styles to do those things. And I think we got lucky to find each other.
Oh yeah. I guess the last thing I'll say about that is I am like an extreme level of type A, like to a fault, which I don't think that I would have found success in my career without that. But I also find him being on the opposite side of the spectrum has been really good for me as a person. Like learning to let go of things, learning to relax a little bit more, learning to see the other side and interpret things differently. So I think there's always something you can learn from someone, especially if you don't see those things eye to eye on everything. And I think that's been really good for both of us.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so question 2, how do you deal with procrastination? You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first on that one.
So I get mad at myself all the time for procrastinating. And at the end of the day, I think that's almost a good thing to have because it sort of just keeps me honest and continues to. And basically, a lot of times I'm not satisfied with the amount of work I did in a day. And I look back on that day, I'm like, oh, I procrastinated here, here, and here. And I think that's not a bad thing because it keeps me on my grind. Like I want my fitness to be successful. I want my online business to be successful. Like that thought of thinking I procrastinated, I think helps me in the long run. But in the moment, I think I've gotten really good at setting smaller, tiny goals. Like I've gotten better at time management. Definitely still not perfect, but if you all don't know, I have a full-time job, run an online business, and do a lot of physical activities. So time is crunched during the day. And I think I've recognized that over the years, and I know, okay, I can work 3 hours this Saturday on my online business. What's my realistic stuff I can get done in those 3 hours? And I just set those goals rather than thinking like, what's this end of the line big picture goal? It's nope, let's get these 7 videos edited that I wanted to do. Let's get a couple more film, this, that, whatever it is, and get that done. Like it's setting smaller, more attainable goals that do lead to bigger goals down the road. But at the end of the day, I think if you're hard on yourself about procrastination and you're still getting work done towards your goals, that's probably a good thing. You're just tough on yourself, but it's gonna get you to where you want to be.
I will echo that in a certain sense. Like I'm still trying to find my groove. I mean, I own and operate a business by myself. I don't have a team. I don't have people that I'm delegating to. So it's a hard thing because like if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. But I'm trying to still figure out a good balance because I find when I get like in a flow state, I can crush some work. But if I am not mentally there, it's very hard for me to do. But like, 2 things. He said being tough on yourself, it takes me back to high school. My high school basketball coach, I was the only person on the entire team that she like gave tough love to, like tough love. And I remember sitting down with her and I was like, dude, why are you angry at me all the time? She was like, you're the only one. That's how you respond.
Yeah.
So responding to like, that's kind of how I take it on myself is I'm very hard on myself, but that's when stuff gets done.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it's not always the best thing, but I'll tell you what, when I'm working under pressure, I get shit done.
Yeah.
Like I work really efficiently under pressure.
Yeah. You've gotten better too. I mean, you're at home all day, but I think you've gotten better at when you are in that creative mindset, capturing that and getting a lot done. And then when you're not thinking, okay, let me productively procrastinate here. Let me you clean the house. You maybe work on recipe creation, like something that's a little less. It requires a little less brain power, I guess. Mm-hmm. When in the past, I think you work hard on yourself. Like I've got to grind through this task, whatever it is.
Forcing it does not ever help.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
I've gotten better at that too. That used to be. I think everybody struggles with that. Like creativity is not there on command all the time. So,
and it's actually funny that you said that word because I was saying we both work. I mean, you can look at it from a couple different angles, but we both work in careers that are based on creativity. Like we have, in order to develop and grow and evolve in our businesses, we have to be creative, and you can't force that.
Yeah.
But understanding. Optimizing the time when you are feeling creative and then understanding like almost stepping away from it and doing something else is better for you rather than trying to force things. And I'm getting better at it. He's really good at it. And you're good at locking in when you need to.
Yeah. But I know it's 90 minutes to 3 hours. It's just going to be, I put a time cap on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is kind of our Garda recap podcast. This question is probably from that. Why did y'all hike with your bikes barefoot in Garda?
Oh God, that didn't feel great.
Yeah, so we did. I created a bike route. We went to, I think it was a monastery. It's a church. Had the word Madonna in the name, but epic ride to get there. I mean, I think we climbed 5,000 feet, maybe 2 big climbs on the way there. And I thought this church or monastery was going to be easily visible. off the side of the road or something.
It's built in the side of a mountain.
Yeah, really spectacular. But we got there and realized we had to. There is a road, but it's only for pedestrians, and so
Like dangerous for a bike to be
yeah,
on.
so it was probably a half mile up, half mile down first, then half mile back up, and we didn't have locks for our bikes, and you just don't want to walk in cycling shoes. So yeah, we
Yeah, it's not good.
hauled the bikes, took the shoes off, and walked down. It was.
But I
awesome.
mean, that's one of those places
You have to
we
be
don't know if
already
we'll
there.
ever go there again. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And
we
we-
had to take advantage of it. It was a nice little detour.
We crushed some pizza afterwards.
We did.
All right. What are your all's next projects?
Do you want me to go first?
Your call.
Oh,
I can go first.
Okay, you go ahead.
I don't think I have any set projects. I think the past couple months though, the app platform that I run my app, the Movement Journey app off of, has allowed for a better interface. I can add more longer form videos, full follow alongs that are like 30, 45 minutes of things, and also just deeper dives on exercises that I think it's really important to understand nuances. So I've been probably the last 4 or 5 months really trying to get a lot more of that stuff on the app to just make it a better user experience. And I'm going to continue to do that to just make that a better experience for the online subscribers I have for that, make that a better product. So that's my, I would say, main personal brand goal at the moment, or project. Physical goal, it's going to be something cycling oriented. I probably haven't named it yet, but I've gotten really into more so gravel cycling, but longer distance cycling in general. And I want to do an Everest at some point where you bike the elevation equivalent to the height of Mount Everest in one ride.
Unassisted, right?
You could do it with help or without help. I don't know. There's a bunch of longer gravel bike races out there that I'd like to sign up for. So in 2025, I'll probably set some goal related to cycling. And I'm also thinking about...
But for those of you that don't know, like the gravel season's over because of the weather.
Yeah, it's
right?
just chilly now.
Yeah,
But
so-
still grinding away on that, building a big base and understanding how mobility work and strength work complements that nicely. I'm also kind of dabbling with this right now, but I might chase the one-arm handstand. I've been incorporating it a little bit the last month, and I tried probably about 4 years ago and I didn't get to a one-arm handstand by any means, but I got a little far along of it and just got too caught up on other things, so gave it up. But I'm feeling a little inspired to possibly do that as well.
And just for people to understand, like what do you think like an adequate amount of time for someone who is, your mobility journey is pretty advanced, but like how long do you realistically think that would take?
I'm totally guessing. So if anyone's listening to this that has a one-arm handstand, I think if you have a solid handstand, which to me a solid handstand is you could kick up and in 1 to 2 tries hold a 60-second handstand unassisted, which I would say I'm at that level. I think you're looking at 9 to 12 months of pretty diligent work to be able to hold like a 5-second one-arm handstand. Mm-hmm. So not very long. And then from there, it goes up. That's just a guess. I think that's based on like internet friends of mine that I've seen, undertake the journey. So,
okay. So from a career standpoint, I think at this point, I'm really trying to pivot a bit with my business into fewer larger events. That is when, and by larger, could mean one day, lots of people, but really my heart and joy is in when I spend time with people for multiple days at a time. Like for example, next week I've been hired for a full week over Thanksgiving, and I'm going to get to serve this extended family, 3 meals a day for a week. And that's really when I get to create relationships with people. So probably fewer in volume events, but really expanding on getting to immerse myself with that group or whatever. And then growing more of an online presence. I tried it. It didn't work the first go round. It was not the time. It was not the place. But considering the current circumstances where we are and some opportunities that are coming my way, I would like to kind of transition. I'm being vague on purpose, but more to come on that. And then physically, I dabbled in this, I think on the last podcast, but I am training for a half Ironman, which has been a lot of fun so far. I like a challenge.
This is where you really see the type A personality.
Yes. Because like I'm already having to, we talked about maintaining healthy habits to the end of the year. I'm having to mentally prepare myself that I cannot train while I'm serving these people, which is hard for me to wrap my head around. Mm-hmm. But it's been fun so far. I'm really excited about it. It's been really interesting to see how my stroke has come back in the pool. I used to competitively swim when I was a kid. My running form, I feel good. And then obviously the cycling, we've been cycling. But it's just really cool to see how my body's evolving. Yeah. How I'm getting stronger, more. It's crazy. And it's so motivating to me because I don't think I've not set a physical goal since darn high school.
Yeah. I think you're going to be doing a lot of possibly a lot of Ironman triathlon type thing, but I think you're going to be doing a lot of physical goal setting, like signing up for races and
100%.
stuff. It's so clear how jazzed and excited you get for it. So very cool.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Next question. This question says social life balance / drinking. So I'm assuming that's how do you balance your social life and drinking, maintain the healthiest version of you while also not giving up the social life or drinking. And I think we sort of touched on this on the last podcast. I think a thing we've both done is, we have I still work a traditional Monday to Friday job. So, if you're going to be able to socialize, it's probably going to be on the weekends for the most part. And we plan our exercise for Saturday and Sunday. And so I think that just knowing, okay, we have a 3-hour ride tomorrow. Caitlin has a 2-hour ride plus a run on Sunday, whatever it is. I think you always hold that in the back of your mind. And if you are out with friends, you're like, all right, if I don't get to bed in the next 2 hours, I'm going to have to sleep in an hour. That's going to affect me on this run, this bike. If I have one more beer, I know I'm going to feel a little bad when I get on the bike tomorrow. So I think just having activities planned, physical activities, it has kept me honest, and I think I definitely drink less. I certainly stay up, go to bed earlier.
We don't stay up.
Yeah. Well,
unless it's college football season.
Sometimes a good college football game, and there is a late night Georgia game tomorrow, so that might get us. But yeah, I think it's just having your priorities pretty much. And our priorities, yes, we like to socialize with friends, but I love the feeling of crushing a workout right now. The feeling of crushing a really hard ride to me is super rewarding, and it's tough for me to do things that are going to negatively affect my ability to do that well.
It comes down to priorities though, like you said. And I think, we have evolved as people since we even started dating. And I really do think it's, if you find, if you find a passion and you find priority that involves physical activity, it's going to filter into your social life. It's going to filter into the consumption of alcohol. But, we had a conversation on our trip in Europe, and trust me, we had plenty of wine, but back at home, tonight I'll have a glass, maybe two with dinner.
Night. You gotta have a
pasta
glass.
Night. But as I've gotten older, I make myself sound so much older than I feel like I am. As I've gotten older, and the fact that I cook for a living, that is what I do. That is my passion. That's my joy. Drinking to me is most enjoyable when it's complementing the food that I've prepared, which is not over consuming. That is truly enhancing a dining experience. Yeah. And that is kind of how, I think naturally we're not drinking as much for the physical reason, but also because like I want to drink to enjoy food. I mean, but again, it is when you're training for a half Ironman and when you're cycling just takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's a big time commitment, and we want to be good at it.
So if
And
you sleep in an extra hour.
yeah, and I'll tell you what, that glass or two of wine after the fact feels so much more deserved.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, flat out, just to like wrap that one up, we don't like the way we feel when you drink too much. We're just over it.
Yeah, totally.
It does nothing. There's a list of negatives. There's 0 positives. That just kind of where it's left for us. So
So plan your activity.
yeah,
Go out. Know you got that activity tomorrow, and see if it keeps you honest.
yeah.
Okay. 2 more questions.
Okay.
What's your opinion on calorie counting? I can give my opinion. You've done it. I've never actually done any calorie counting. I think if you need that accountability buddy, it probably is something good to do, especially if you are trying to lose weight. I don't want to say I'm too lazy to do it, but that's probably the answer is I'm too lazy to do it. But you'd probably be more insightful than me because you've actually done it. You've gone through some.
Yeah. I think it's twofold. So one, just like John mentioned, like if you are looking to lose weight, I think it's a good thing as long as you don't have a personality that will obsess over it to an unhealthy place.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen, and that is my one caveat for telling people that counting macros, counting calories can be a really negative thing is if you have that kind of personality that becomes obsessive over it. I did it because I never took the time to truly understand how many calories I was putting in my body. When you work at home, I can literally walk in the kitchen and nibble on a handful.
You forget
of
about
this.
those nipples.
Yeah. So like it brought to light, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now I'm eating more than I ever have because I'm burning more than I ever have, but just understanding how much I was bringing in. But I do think it can be a very good thing for someone to become clear and have literally on paper, understanding what you're bringing in.
Yeah.
I think it's all based on the person. I would not tell you either what like an extreme yes or no either way. I think it's all based on your circumstances.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it is a nice, I kind of know this in the back of my mind, but it probably shows you, oh, that's what a serving size of this actually looks like. Like, it's easy to, if you are kind of, let's say, sort of trying to be mindful about calories, you're like, oh, these chips have 200 calories. Oh, cool, I can stand to eat those. And then in reality, you had 700 calories worth of chips. Like, it is probably a nice way to understand serving sizes of things.
That's a good point. And I guess the last thing I'll say about that would be hard for me and why I've never really gone into it is, to be honest, when you cook 7 days a week and you make everything from scratch, it's 5 times as hard to accurately count because you're not getting something off a box or off of a nutrition label. It's literally me making everything from scratch. So you're just kind of guessing. But it really is good. I would think portion control. That's another good, a good reason to possibly use it. But I think it's very circumstantial.
Yeah. All right. Last question. How do you deal with being jealous in relationships? To be honest, I don't think either of us, correct me if I'm wrong, put ourselves in situations that would make the other one jealous. And I think part of that is when we got together, I think we knew what we wanted in a partner, or at least close enough to it. And that, we enjoyed being around each other. We weren't out. I guess some people do this. They just say, I'm going out with the guys with the intention of making their significant other jealous. Like, that's just, we wouldn't do that. So
no, I don't know. Like, that's a hard thing to answer because, like, when we started dating, like, I've never, ever in my entire life been more confident in a relationship. Like, if he told me he was leaving for 3 weeks on a trip with guys, I'd be like, I will miss the hell out of you. Goodbye. But jealousy or potential jealousy or worrying about that would never be on the table.
Yeah, that's.
I'd just be upset that someone else is getting his time.
Yeah, and honestly, this might sound bad, but when I do observe other relationships and there's clear like jealousy going on, like I'm just like, oh, that's. Why would either of you all want to be in that situation?
I mean, I'll say something I guess kind of bold is like I feel like if there is some sort of insecurity within the relationship, and we feel, I think I can speak for both of us, very secure with one another. There's no insecurities there. And I think that jealousy can often stem from insecurity.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
So.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I think if you're in a relationship and your partner's getting jealous, you're getting jealous, like maybe take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, is this the right person I'm supposed to be with? I mean, have an honest conversation with them. Like, I think it's easy for people to, especially if you've been in a relationship for a long time, to just be fine with whatever status quo is. But I don't think jealousy, especially chronic jealousy, is a healthy thing in a relationship.
Nope.
Yeah, so maybe ask yourself and your partner some tough questions.
Yeah. I mean, I'm obsessed with this guy. So, anyways. Does that wrap it up?
Cool. Yeah,
we'll be doing this every 3-4 episodes. We probably
something like that.
Yeah, it's been a bit since we've done it. So if you have any questions, shoot them our way.
Yeah, please do. Like the podcast, rate it, share it on social media. If you're listening, we'll repost. This was episode 14.
Yeah. We will see you guys
sometime
next time
in the future.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.